today we are very happy to host an entrepreneur from Shenzhen, the city where I am located in China, in south of China, which is very close to Hong Kong. Laurent is a French tech entrepreneur. He has been living in Shenzhen since 2007. He is the founder and CEO of Omate. Omate is a smart IoT and smart wearable startup. And in 2016, Laurent founded another startup, which is Oclean in Shenzhen. And Oclean is a next generation oral care tech startup. Their smart toothbrush have already won many international design awards. On top of that, Laurent is also a board member of La French Tech here in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. And of course, if you go to LinkedIn, he also runs a LinkedIn professional group on IoT and wearables. So after this webinar, if you want to get connected with him, please find him to get connected with him on LinkedIn. Nayana, would you please?
That was my number one. That was probably, my number one, I would say, the first roadblock for an entrepreneur is like the funding and etc. So I was, as I said, I moved, I was 25 from France to China, and I really started my first company. I was 30 years old. So I had a little capital at that time, enough to take a year off, I would say. Actually to start, it was not really a year off because that was the beginning of the journey of, but I was ready. I was not like a, fresh undergrad and then I understood that actually I met some, after I did a break also in 2015 in Silicon Valley. And I remember after a round of investment, I met some students and they were in their 20s and they were telling me like, oh, I will, after I get graduated from Stanford, all this big university, and they were telling me, yeah, I would start a company. And I was really impressed, because I really started from the corporate world first to become like a professional, to be more independent financially. And then I understood their ideas. They said like, actually, I'm already kind of broke with my students alone. And anyway, I can take a year off to work on my own project. And if it fails, anyway, I will still be able to join any of these companies in the Silicon Valley. So I understood their point. But from my side was really different. 15 years ago, or 17 years ago, when I got graduated, I started my first job, and that was like for a spin-off of Philips Mobile in the phone industry in France, and we were designing feature phones. And as I said, it took. I wanted to be ready, mainly financially, and ready also through a good idea. So that's all it started for me.
It seems that you're coming from tech background and you really cultivated yourself to the point of both where you had the financial stability to take a risk and the knowledge of the industry know-how. But as we know, entrepreneurship is not just one sector game. You need the financial sector organized, the legal sector organized, a whole lot of resource management. Sometimes you have to do it all by yourself. Sometimes you have people agreeing to work with you. They see a common vision. How did you bring that team together? Or was it like it was first just yourself, step by step, as you grew, you brought in people?
No, as you mentioned, yeah, I was really through. There is also the market, there was an opportunity. What happened is I was working already as a freelance in a company in China. I had a lot of expertise in that field in mobile phone design and supply chain. So I know pretty well like this the ecosystem and the environment. And then we were designing basically a smartphone, an Android smartphone that was 10 years ago. And then we got like it's a piece of context, but we got like LG and Apple. They were working on this iPod Nano. If you remember, that was very tiny display and MP3, and Apple was discontinuing this product, and LG, which was a supplier of that display, just the LCD, came to our office and left some samples and said, "Hey, we have a ton of stock of this. And if you want to use, we can give you a discount. It's a high resolution. It's a, it's a good piece of hardware." But at that time, we were designing big phones. We were designing what we are using today. It was the beginning of the large screen smartphone. So it was really, I would say, useless, for us. But anyway, we just connected this board, and we saw like a thumbnail version of Android running on this tiny display. And I would say this was a kind of eureka moment. This the moment where you see like something unique, something, that you don't understand. It's really gut feeling. You see something that you have never seen before. And then very quickly, I understood that if we could redesign the board to make it small, we could do like a tiny portable version of Android. So that's how everything started. It really started with this kind of eureka moment. And for Oclean, it's the same. I think when we saw, we got access with a supplier to a very strong vibrator for, like a maglev vibrator is called, like for toothbrush. And the factory actually gave us like an exclusivity if we launch that product. And then we created Oclean like that. It's really through, I would say, industrial partnership or industrial advantage, or things that we feel like, hey, we have something, we have the capabilities, and we can do something different, something unique. So that's how usually it starts.
I do see that you have the ability to bring people together for to see that common vision, and it's something that you cultivated through your industry experience and being ability to find value. Like as a society these days, I guess we are all used to the end product, the end service. Nobody really looks at the amount of effort and energy that goes in building those parts that assemble together to give you that end service. So that's quite interesting when you say, there are a lot of good, like just because a service or a technology is obsolete, there are a lot of, there's certain, technologies or pieces that were used in it that actually still hold quite a value, and you can't just simply waste it away. And I guess it's SDG 12 that we're talking about, responsible production and consumption. So whatever production we are having, we have to keep it responsibly in our ecosystem. So I guess that should be said. So where are you, do you see the Omate and the Oclean products heading towards in future? I see Omate watches, probably getting more niche, more disease specific, more requirement specific, and probably Oclean becoming the dentist of tomorrow.
This is exactly in the topic actually of the meeting today. Is really how to survive, how to pivot to avoid to fail or avoid to die. Usually what I say is like our mission when you have your own company as an entrepreneur with your team, for your team, is to very first is to make your company thrive and survive. First is pure survival skill. So you have to you have a lot of people, you will meet a lot of people, mentors, investors, friends and family. We will give you ideas, we'll give you, but they are not running your company. You are in charge. And because you are in charge, you have to, the best way to show that you are in charge is to make decisions. And all these decisions will have impacts. So there is something many people likes to tell, like it's something like you need to focus on your ideas and so on. So it looks beautiful. It's true when the stars are aligned, you know, where everything is beautiful. Of course, if you have a very good idea at the right time with the right team, etc. Yes, sure, you should focus on that and continue to do it. But as soon as you have a roadblock, as soon as you have like you know, in your SWOT analysis, you know, you have like your strengths, you have your weaknesses, opportunities, but you have also threats. And these threats can be internal, external. They can be, you know, like COVID is a good example, but there are so many other things, like competition is probably the #1 for any company. So you have to decide what to do when you have like a very large competitor entering your field. So for companies like both Omate and Oclean, they were called, for Omate, they were called Apple and Google. So when you have like, so we started in this consumer and, you know, smartwatches. We were very early in the game. We were actually the first one to do like a connected standalone smartwatch. So it was really unique. We got a lot of spotlight thanks to that. But after a year, we have a company called Apple coming in the game. So even though they were starting with a different type of technology and later on, a year after, they came with a connected watch to the network, like 4G enabled. So we were doomed. You know, there is nothing else that you can do that to either you compete with them, and I can tell you, good luck. Most of the company we did that, they are either dead or at the hospital. And at the same time, we had also Google coming with their own vision of Android Wear, and then combined with all their ecosystem companies, Samsung, Motorola, anyway, all of them, you know, Oppo. So today they are all in that game. So we had to make a decision to pivot, and pivot for us was pure survival. We started by pivoting to more niche market. We started with the kids back in 2015. Then something even more important happened to us is when an insurance company came to us on a booth in a exhibition in Monaco, and this company was an insurance company, and they said like they were using our watches or smartwatches for seniors, and that was also something, you know, we always want to work on something cool, fashion, whatever, sexy, you know, with a lot of sex appeal, whatever, something cool. And going from consumer, you know, we started from sports watch, then fashion watch. In 2014, we had a big event for on fashion, and after to go to kids, which is a niche but still fun, and then going to seniors. That's not sexy, you know, that's not cool, that's not but that saved Omate. And today, so 6 years later, 80% of our revenue are with seniors, and another niche, a niche in the niche called lone workers. So it's people working in construction, security, utilities, transportation, etc. So this is an example of pivoting, and that's where we are focusing today. You see, so it took 9 years to finally, not 9 years, maybe 6 years to focus on something. But the first 6 years is where you die. Most of the startups die. We all know that. In the first 5 years, actually 80% or something like that. So that's where actually you need to not focus. You need to be really aware of your industry, really aware of your ecosystem. This SWOT analysis, as I said, but it's your competition, all the. And for Oclean, it's different. So Omate, we are really on the enterprise and really pure B2B. So we don't have to be, we still pretend time to time when we launch a new product that we are a consumer company, and we do ultra limited edition for some VIPs, etc. But we are literally an enterprise B2B company. And so our customers are more like insurance companies, services company. And for the rest of for Oclean, we are purely like a consumer, really focused on consumer. And the same, we have a competition. They are not called Apple and Google, but they are called Philips and Oral-B. So we have also to be very careful on what every product we do, and to bring a lot of innovation and to please end users.
Would connectivity of Omate and Oclean product would be dependent on proximity to a mobile phone, or do you see in future, do you see that they can interact directly with a network?
So yeah, for Omate, we are purely and exclusively actually offering a product connected to the telecom network. So it's exclusively 4G today, maybe later in 5G, but it's not really needed right now. We need very stable network. So 4G is pretty good. That's the most, it's enough for what we do, you know, like a video call and so on. Probably 5G in the next 5 years, but it's quite, what is unique about Omate today is that our products can have a very long life cycle, which is the opposite of consumer, where, you know, like mobile phone industry, it's really like every year you have like a new innovation, you have a new model, you know, iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone 15. So iPhone, you know, forever. And the same for everyone, you know, their competition of Apple, they do the same, you know, they launch, I have a Xiaomi phone, they will launch you know, the next version, like, etc., etc. For our products, we have a life cycle which is much longer, because they are robust product for people, really targeted people like seniors, 80 years old and above. We have a few users that are 100 years old, you know, so that's is not products they will change every year. The product needs to be stable, and they will use it like probably for 3-4 years. So, and the same for loan workers. These enterprise, big construction companies, they buy it for their staff. So it needs to be robust and last. So for Oclean, it's very different. We are in this race of innovation, bringing, and this is purely Bluetooth technology, also Wi-Fi to connect with your phone. So all of that is still interacting, like it's purely this industry of Internet of Things. So our toothbrushes are connected to your smartphone with an application where you can customize basically your plan, you know, your brushing plan, get some scores, get some analysis. And the same for our next product, some new verticals, like for the kids, where we can, you know, you can customize the time, you have some games, you have like gamification, etc., for the kids to interact and to brush their teeth. So the ultimate goal is oral healthcare, better oral healthcare, and for Oclean and for Omate, it's you know, like it's all about safety and yeah, and security for the people who need them in case of an emergency. So that be a senior, an old person, elderly, or alone workers, someone working in a harsh environment alone.
Do you think that now that they are directly connected to the network, these products have the ability to, because we recently came out of a pandemic, and every now and then we're seeing a lot of natural calamities, sometimes disasters man-made and sometimes natural, that these products have the capability, at least to some extent, be utilized in disaster management, probably tracking people for security reasons and you know, saving lives, or transmitting important information given the product that is there. Can those resources be used in disaster management as well?
Yes, especially what we call lone workers. So that's typically that, but it's more, yeah, it's people working in, it can be emergency responders first, but it's more is more people who are alone. So these are teams, it's different, but it could be used for that. Yeah, it's linked to a service. So basically that's why we call this concept of wearable as a service. You can use a wearable, connect your software and your call center, you know, and then your software can connect to a call center or connect to, you know, like some management chain. So for example, it could, if you're a worker and you have like you fail, you know, in your job, you are like a carpenter, you know, you are a construction worker, and then you have like a heart attack or you have something. If you have, we can get all this signal, or we can have like non-detection movement, you know, of your wrist. This is not normal. You know, construction workers are always in movement. And if for, you know, a few minutes you are not moving, that's already, it triggers an alert for the manager. We could say like, hey, are you okay? We will push like a vibration on the way, are you okay? And then if he doesn't press the button, okay, you know, then we can climb like in the chain of the response. And then we can locate the watch. So every day people press this red button. Every day we have like emergency. Then it goes to a service accordingly. So I will not say, hopefully not every day we are like having this, you know, big emergency or life-threatening alerts. But yeah, every week we save life. That's for sure.
Have you expanded in countries beyond China? Are you looking at Japan, India, European markets, American markets? What are markets you have expanded in? And just like briefly, so that we can then move on to the video, and also Joey can bring her set of questions, and so shall we bring in the audience's question.
Well, business is very, you know, inclusive, you know. Business is, we are very happy to work anywhere in the world. Then the reality is that some countries are, you know, culturally or technologically, and also on the market fit doesn't match. So for Omate, especially for seniors and non-workers, our main market, Europe and North America. That's our typical market for seniors. Japan is very famous worldwide to have like, you know, aging population kind of issue, you know, and we could think like, wow, that would be a great fit for Japan. And then China has also like a large community of elderly, but culturally, it's very different in a way that seniors nowadays, they still will live with a relative, which is not the case in Europe. Like my grandmother just passed away a few weeks ago, but she was 95 years old and she was living on her own. She had her own house, living as long as possible as she could. And then until the moment, like, you know, like health deteriorates, and then you will move to, you know, hospital and like that, you know, that's, but people try as long as possible, culturally, really to stay as long as you can in your own house, in your own environment, which is not, and also I would say, we have like this big effect, this is global, of the boomers, of the, you know, the baby boomers is going to be like, at the same time, a huge opportunity for many people because it's going to open a total new industry. It's just starting. The boomers are just entering like retirement, and they are a lot, and they have a lot of money. You know, so it's people who have money, they have power. You can see like politically, all these people in charge in many countries, they are like from that generation, and also they are a big number. So the next 20 years, where they are, that's demographics, that's pure demographic, is no question about that. It's going to be very weird. Even we could even consider COVID somehow shows that we could do so many things for more elderly, I would say, even parents of the boomers. But So imagine the power they have. They can totally change, you know, to save these people, to save the elderly generation, what we did and what China is still doing. So that's one part. And for Oclean, in terms of market, we're mainly actually in China. You know, it's a homeland, I would say, but also doing pretty good in East, everywhere where I would say Xiaomi is doing great for not cultural reason, but economic reason, economic fit. We like to say that we have a similar DNA. We got investment from one of their sister company at the very beginning. It was called Huami, now it's called Zep. But that company was doing like the Mi Band, you know. And if you look at the Mi Band and all the Xiaomi ecosystem, it's basically products who have very, very good quality at an affordable price. So Oclean, we got this DNA as well. So we work very well in this market where you really want like a premium product, but at an affordable price. So future is going to be good for us in many ways, because for economic reason, people will tend to go to this kind of products. So we are just started for products, high quality products. So they really Japan value quality, which is great. So we got very good feedback, market feedback from Japan, actually. So yeah, I would say, but we are, as I started to explain, we could launch basically Oclean everywhere in the world, but we do it by opportunity when we have a distributor, when we have like online, you know, market fit with Amazon, with every platform possible. And we have less restriction on Oclean because we have very high standard of quality for all this, you know, all this certification, global certification, but we have less trouble for interoperability. Sorry for the word, but it's, you know, because it's Bluetooth, it's connected by Bluetooth, it's very easy. While for Omate, it's really linked to the network. So it's different bands, it's different frequency, and it's very expensive certification per country. So it gives more limitation.
C'est les nouvelles brosses à dents Oclean. Vous êtes prêts?
Oui, oui.
C'est bien?
Okay, that's a very lovely video. So we have just seen perhaps the first smart toothbrush in the world. We have electric toothbrush, which the first electric toothbrush was invented back in the 1950s. So we can see how long it takes people to adopt it. And Oclean, the startup based in Shenzhen in China, have brought us the first smart toothbrush. You can see from the video how easily it can be held by the hands of a kid. So it's very innovative. It's a star product. So my questions, I have 3 to 4 questions, which are all product-specific questions. So my first question is, what kind of effort does Oclean put into this smart toothbrush to make people using smart toothbrush a new habit or a new lifestyle?
All right, so first, this video is a new product we will launch. We already launched it in China. These are my kids. It's at home. No, so it's more like social media videos that we did for fun. But anyway, I'm always happy to see my kids using our products, and we do some kind of education with on all products. There is another product that I'm very proud of, is our water flosser. It's an incredible product. Really, it's even, I would say, very sincerely, that Oclean products are this kind of products that I call the, you know, when you buy this product and you use, it's like satisfying product. So you feel like you did a good purchase. There are a few products like that, you know, like this kind of wireless earbuds. This is amazing. I think it's incredible. It's the same feeling when you have this kind of new kind of technologies that you use and you feel like this is good. It's just good. The water flosser is really that. You know, you can floss with water jet. It got invented by Waterpik, also the same story, like 50 years ago, and it took a very long time. And we really improved like the design, the portability, the size. Then for toothbrushes, it's much easier because we have these big companies in the game, like Philips and Oral-B. We even cooperated with a spin-off of Oral-B because they have umbrellas companies. So this is a recognition from the market. You know, they look at us. They told us like, "Wow, you did a good job. You are taking some of our market shares, and we would like to cooperate with you on some products." So we did a product with them 2 years ago, actually, a first one for the kids with Crest, the toothpaste brand that belongs to Procter & Gamble, which also Oral-B group. And we tried to educate the market through, it's simple, you know, it's manual toothbrush, great, they are very old technology, very stable, but a sonic or electric toothbrush, you will brush better. It's as simple as that. It will brush better your teeth, and your teeth is not only like you know, about like having them clean and having them white. It's also really important health, you know, environment of your body, because you have like bacteria. If you don't brush your teeth, bacteria will go inside your body, inside your guts, inside your stomach, etc. So it will affect actually your body. And we are all, what is incredible about teeth is that we all want them to have like have them healthy, but we all have different set of teeth. So what we created with Oclean is really to really identify, analyze your teeth, and offer you like the right plan, the right brushing plan according to your teeth condition. And this is the ultimate goal actually of Oclean, is to first to make them clean, then to make them white, and also I would say later on is to make them straight. To make them, you know, there are plenty of technology and we want to invest in that in the future. So to make them straight.
Okay, so it's really helpful product for you to, you know, to really customize your oral care, how to brush your teeth more efficiently, more effectively. So speaking of,
and to make it easy, it should not be like something, you know, too crazy. You don't have to watch your phone all the time. You do it once, and then we will offer you the plan, and then we will analyze, and then we will give you like, yeah, you did a good job. We will give you like 3 stars, or you know, we have these stars, or and we show you also on a display, which is totally unique. We were the first to do that, to show you where you did not brush, so you can directly see on the brush where you miss the point. So okay, you can brush a bit more.
Yes, that's why when you say if Omate is B2B and your Oclean is put customers in the focus. So if he or she is not used to this toothbrush, smart toothbrush, then you have a 1 week tolerance week. What is that? Could you please explain a little bit more about 1 week, 15 times endurance tolerance time?
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of products. So endurance is one of our new model. We offer like plenty of innovation, and we were pretty famous on offering. We started with the Oclean one with incredible battery life. People that I offered or people who bought the product, when we launched it on international version, we did it on Indiegogo. All the people after 6 months, they were like, wow, I don't even remember if I charge it even once or twice, or, you know, so we try to bring a lot of things like that. Then we have like, yeah, plenty of other patents actually, you know, like for pressure, and then yeah, we have a lot of commercial benefits for people. You can buy, you know, the ads. What the real business, I would say, is the recurring revenue of this business, because you need to change the heads. So the head brush you need to change. We will tell you automatically when you need to change, and we will not tell you, you know, it really depends on people. So it's not like a bullshit algorithm where we just tell you, like, we could tell like everyone after 2 months, or okay, you change. This is really according to how you brush. If you really press, you know, some people, they like to press, which is not good. You need to round it, and you need to be gentle, and actually you will save money because you will not change the head brush. So we have all these kind of tricks through the application. If you don't want to use the application, it's fine. You will see by yourself. So, and again, it's affordable.
Community. Our aim is to pick up successful and growing startups as well as entrepreneurs, learn from them, and spread their success or the lessons what they have learned to other growing community. That's the whole aim. So this time, Laurent, we found that Laurent has got some interesting story which will be useful for both Japanese startups as well as global entrepreneurs. That's where we have introduced Laurent this time. I hope that
Thank
is.
you. Yeah,
thank you.
that's clear. Thank you. Yeah.
One more word from my side. You can find me on LinkedIn and get connected with me on LinkedIn. So you definitely have a China link here in Startup Grind community.
Now that we are plugging in, I'll also plug in. Hey, I'm working in communication sectors, and I would like to connect with you, George, regarding the satellite technology you're working in for Indian markets. Here you go. See? So networking and ecosystem, sometimes it helps. We need to bring like-minded, positive energy people together. And I think that's how we grow.
Thank you.
Thank you, George, for being here. And I look forward to having you more often. We'll be happy to introduce you to the other entrepreneurs we have in our network and who are doing some very amazing job. So there's another question I have. This is that, can these kids' wearable watch be used as a safety monitoring device by the parents?
Yeah, that's a primary goal for kids, like the smartwatch for kids. But actually, it's still like a new segment. It's very famous. It's a very big segment in China. It's by far the largest market for that technology and that market segment for the kids smartwatch. In the rest of the world, it's definitely using. It's probably like yeah, at least 5 years late in terms of development or in terms of communication on it. So we tried many things. It's just starting in the US and Europe, and COVID also disrupted this because, you know, kids have to stay at home. It was not the right timing, you know, for many companies to launch a kids smartwatch when you have your kids with you 100% of the time for the last 2 years. So I believe it will come back. We came with more like an approach of communication, you know, through video call, and also some other features like chatting with sending like messages, audio messages to your kids. But the main one is definitely location, to know where are your kids. If they are, especially when they start going alone by themselves on, you know, to school, it can be scary if they are not on time, or and there are always some stories, you know, everywhere in the world about some dramatic events linked to kids, you know, like abduction, etc. So of course we don't want to play this fear project card, you know, like but it works. That's the problem. So we go in something more positive with communication, and hopefully it will grow in the rest of the world. The same
and
in
with
India,
the watch
the same
directly
you know.
connected, and with the watch directly connected to the 4G network, I think it would be a good bet on that.
It's the case. That's what all the companies are offering, but it's also expensive. That's another point. It's there are products which are rather expensive. It's kind of the price of a smartphone. So not everyone, there is a lot of communication, a lot of marketing to educate the market, and also to see if it's really needed, etc. I believe it's a great product. It's a great services. It improves your, you know, your life for many reasons. And that's why in China, it's super popular. It's incredible. Like, just to tell you, in China, like if your kids like age, I would say 6 to 10 years old, they don't have a smartwatch, you are a bad parent. You know?
Really?
So,
really, is that bad?
It's very unusual. No, but it's very unusual. Like, they all have it. It's really impressive. So yeah, while in the rest of the world, it's still extremely niche. But yeah, it will
I
come.
guess where there is demand, there would be scale, and probably scale might be instrumental in bringing the prices down, affordable, especially in the safety department. I look forward to more of it going in the watch evolving in child safety space, because I think that's one big space we need to look at. I'll take Jason's question next. What are the big challenges when getting your project name out there? In other words, the big marketing challenge. Oh, yeah. How do you, and how does your team on the same, how do you keep your team on the same boat? Similar vision and strong values. So these are the two questions: the marketing challenge and keeping the team together.
Yeah, the challenges, there are multiple. Usually for your company is always, we come back to the basis, you know, like you need to, no one else should know better your company, your vision, your market, your competition. You know, you need to be an expert. So when you are like heading companies, like and you are doing products for consumer, for end user, you need to be aware of all this. That's why the SWOT analysis is so important. Like, and you don't have to write it down, or actually it can be in your brain. It can, you know, you are constantly thinking about this your strengths, what you are good at, what are your weaknesses, to really acknowledge your weaknesses of your team. Then for your team, you can, you know, improve that through HR, you know, to get new staff, to find like A players, you know, who can be better in what you are not good at, and to focus on what you are good at. I think to go through all this challenge is to really focus, unless if there is something to focus, it's probably not about your you know, the vision of the company or etc. It's really about focusing on what you are good at. There are plenty of people who really want to focus on what they like, or what they, you know, they think they want to do. And actually it's better to be good at what you are good, you know, to focus on what you are good. So because you will, that means you will have a lot of pleasure being if you're good at something, and after and you will have a lot of recognition from your colleagues, from your friends, from your family. They will know that you are good at what you're doing. So that's the main thing for challenges. And no one should better know your industry. For example, I know usually people, good friends, they will share me links, of industrial things, Obviously, they are not in my industry. Of course, I know. Politely, I will say, no, but thank you. And this, but obviously, I know before them because that's my industry. So I must know everything about my industry. I must be an expert of who is doing what, who is my brother recently sent me an article about a company doing like a brush, it's a pad that you put in your mouth and it brush in 10 seconds. And I told him, yeah, I know. They launched like 3 years ago. It was a huge scam. Actually, that it failed. But the technology was beautiful. It looks like great, but it failed because the product was not ready. I mean, it was the technology. No, you cannot brush in 10 seconds. I'm sorry, but it's like that. So, and we all have different set of teeth. So it's not one to fit all. So it's great if you have fake teeth, if you have, like no teeth, and then you want just to wash this. Yeah, no problem. This is good. You can. But for rest of the population, no. So you see, that's an example. You need to be an expert. You need to know before anyone else what's going on in your industry.
No, I agree. That's there. I'll take the last question of the day before we disperse. And if somebody is interested for a video introduction, please, this is the time where you pull up your pants, wear that shirt, and come look a little presentable in front of the camera. I'll give you time with the last question. So Maureen has the question: what business practice or skills you learned from France that have been helpful for you in running the business here?
I would say it's not typically from France, but for anyone it works. That's interesting. It's like we all have our own legitimacy in something, thanks to our country, actually. So for me, it's like, legitimacy is really about to be legitimate at something is when, for example, there is a wine on a table, people will ask me like if it's good or not, that's legitimacy. So that's what I brought with me. I brought friends helped me to brought like some things that legitimate to France. So we have a few things that are from our background, which are cool. So I think everyone has his own. On any country, we have this kind of national treasure that we heritate from our ancestors. So I think I brought that. I brought what France have, the best, and I brought also some drawbacks of being French, but I try to hide that. So I try to keep only the good side.
Do you cook for your children the French food?
Sure, I love cooking. So
that's important.
Cooking for friends. Also, maybe what I brought is a lifestyle. We try to be very productive. Actually, French people are very productive. So we are very focused on doing things fast and good, and no much blah blah. Actually, we are very into doing things because we want to use our free time. We want to use our. It's very important. Now it's coming, I think, more and more in China. I hear and read a lot about people speaking about it, like this work balance. So that's what I brought, because we have this good work-life balance in France, which is pretty famous. Like Italian beat us with Dolce Vita, but I think French, we say French are angry Italian.
Yeah.
so we can still do better. And I cook Italian also, so that's
Oh, really?
the best food is
That's-
Italian, I think. But so you see,
Maybe we need to have an Italian cooking lesson too. It will only go to select few members, so please drop your name in the chat box if you're open to Laurent cooking, teaching us some French recipes. Sorry, Laurent, without asking your permission, I marketed the event, but I'm sure it would be a pleasure to have you host those kind of events. With that, I think we have taken everybody's precious time here for this event, for this conversation, very valuable conversation, but it had to come to an end because the time is precious. But we'll see you again next time, in a month's time, with another great speaker. And before that, if you would like to say a nice hello or a nice bye-bye with the video on, please go ahead. This is the time, or you can simply just unmute yourself and say bye-bye, and we would look forward to hearing from you again. We'll just give everybody a minute to wrap things up, and then we can end the video. Thank you, Laurent, for being here with us. I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, everyone. It was great chatting with you guys. So thanks for the invitation, and we keep in touch.
Bye-bye. Thank you.